couple of asshole backpacking Americans who can't follow simple instructions wind up in a whole mess of trouble in this week's episode of The Tape Tomb. And no, we're not talking about the new Wrong Turn movie. That's only available on futuristic DVD and Blu-ray, and that movie was awful. It's the ultimate 80s lycanthropic flick if you ask anyone except me. But hey, maybe if it had more of Gary Busey's chiclet teeth in there, it would have had my vote. But today we're talking about An American Werewolf in London. Let's enter the Tape Tomb. What's up, all gendered dudes, stony bonies, and VHS hounds? This is the Tape Tomb, and once again, I'm your blue-beanied host with the most, Larry Downs. This week, I set my money on fire by purchasing An American Werewolf in London. And although this movie doesn't have a rocket-powered wheelchair in it, it's an absolute banger of a movie that came out during the 80s werewolf craze as well. This movie took practical effects to a whole new level, and not just in horror movies, but the cinema world in general. If you haven't heard about or seen this movie, I absolutely have no clue how, but somehow, someway, you heard about it from us, and I think that's worth a like and subscribe. We could do it again. This movie's directed by John Landis, who's brought us such art as Animal House, The Blues Brothers, and The Stupids. This movie stars David Naughton, Griffin Dunne, John Woodvine, and Jenny Agutter, who's appeared in Child's Play 2, Logan's Run, and My Dreams. Roll the film! An American Werewolf in London is about two American backpackers named David and Jack taking a walking tour of Britain. After seeking shelter in a local pub called the Slaughtered Lamb, Jack totally kills the mood by asking about a weird symbol on the wall. At this point, it's pretty clear that their presence isn't wanted, and they head out, but not without getting a few words of warning first.
Stay on the road. Keep clear of the moors.
Easy, right? Not for these two idiots, as we can see the point where they just stopped giving a shit about the spooky bar guy's warning. Well, of course, they get attacked by a werewolf, Jack dies, and David is left barely alive, waking up in a London hospital bed. As David recovers, he is slowly turning into a werewolf. How do we know? His dead buddy Jack keeps popping up and warning him that, in fact, he is going to turn into a werewolf and that he has to kill himself to not only save his spirit from the lichen curse, but spare the potential lives of the many people around him. And to make matters even more interesting, this is also the start of a blooming romance with his nurse Alex, who constantly ignores all of David's red flags to get a piece of that booty. How does he balance this all out? Honestly, everyone cutting him a lot of slack and a heaping helping of denial on everyone's part, until it's too late. So why does everyone think this movie is so important? That was a pretty big deal at the time. This movie's pretty fun to watch, even for those that don't like horror films. Its storyline focuses more on David and how he is mentally handling everything while doing social acrobatics to maintain his normal life, rather than scenes of him running around as a werewolf the whole time. Instead, we get a really interesting approach with the precursor of the lichen curse, which includes really fun nightmare scenes and a progressively deteriorating Jack, who keeps popping up to have casual conversations with David like these two dudes never left off. Now, if you were expecting a movie more filled with werewolves, you won't be disappointed either. And although this version looks a little more wolf-like than we're used to seeing, this beast looks dope. It's savage and animal-like, and I think that works for this kind of movie and the setting that we're working with. It's got a good story, humor, gore, and one of the most unexpectedly funny endings I've ever seen in a movie. So of course, it's a perfect addition for us here at the Tape Tomb. Here's some interesting facts about American Werewolf in London. In a victory for the horror genre, this movie won the first Academy Award for Best Makeup. The category was created in 1981, just in time. David Naughton, who originally appeared in Dr. Pepper's I'm a Pepper commercial as the star, was let go by the doc after his spicy nudes in the film. During a film preview, the marquee said from the director of Animal House, and everyone thought they were going to see a comedy. Once they found out that wasn't the case, many of them left the theater. Here's a bonus fact for you. Every song in this movie has the word moon in it. Thank you all once again for tuning in and watching this week's episode of The Tape Tomb. Do you like this movie? Have you never seen it? Did you just watch it? Drop it in the comments below and let me know what you think about it. Or give us a like and subscribe. It definitely helps us out and we appreciate every subscriber. Or you can tune into our live stream multiple times a week on Twitch under Nightmare Fuel Streaming, just like here on YouTube. We play some of the coolest horror and sci-fi games and just kind of hang out with you guys so you can chat with us and tell us that our opinions are wrong, but you like us anyway. Or if you want to see the more relaxed, casual side of Nightmare Fuel Streaming, tune into our Instagram account. I'm always posting dumb pictures on there all the time about the tapes that I buy, the toys that I get, or just things that I think are going to be funny in general. Or tune into our sister series, Airlock Shock with Nick Haskin, which happens every other Wednesday here on Nightmare Fuel Streaming. He talks about some of his favorite sci-fi movies, just like we do here at the Tape Tomb. Thank you all for watching, my friends. Stay spooky, and we'll see you in the sequel.